the largest convenience store in the United States is now closing. We are seeing a massive shift, and a lot of it has to do with inflation, with consumer sentiment, and just your overall financial well-being. What's happening right now has a lot of people freaking out because we are starting to see this shift where consumers aren't buying things like they used to. We're not spending money left and right on things that are not necessities. And this is why this one convenience store is closing hundreds of locations. Just look at this. It says 7-Eleven quietly closes over 500 stores. And you may not even realize this because a lot of these stores are in certain areas of cities that are, well, considered dangerous. The thefts are rather high. And so 7-Eleven, which is not immune to thefts, they are shutting down some of these stores to, number one, protect their workers, number two, protect their profit, and number three, they are just going to open up stores in other locations. But what we're going to see is there's going to be layoffs as we go through this. Look at this right here. It says 7-Eleven is closing more than 400 locations. But where are these locations happening from? Or these closures? It says several hundred underperforming 7-Eleven locations across North America are closing, the convenience store announced. It says 7 & I Holdings, the chain's Japan-based parent company, revealed in an earnings report Thursday that 444 locations of 7-Eleven are shutting down because of a variety of issues, including slowing sales, declining traffic, inflationary pressures, and a decrease in cigarette purchases. Now, something that we have heard a lot about recently is the push for local officials to remove homeless encampments. Guess where 7-Eleven is normally located? They're normally located near a very busy street, a highway, right, where there's a lot of eyeballs on them. That's also where a lot of homeless people live. That's where they build their encampments. And so now with more city officials pushing back on homeless encampments, what's happening is they are seeing 7-Eleven is seeing their customers are now moving further away, which again is part of the issue. Look at this. Okay, inflationary pressures is a big one. A lot of products that 7-Eleven sells, they're small, right? They don't sell big items. They're drinks, they're different snack items, right? They have some car parts and things like that, but a lot of it is alcohol, tobacco, things like that. And so what we're seeing right now is some people, and the majority of people, don't have the luxury to spend on things that are not deemed necessities. Okay, if it's not food and water, chances are they don't have the money to buy it. We are also seeing right now where cigarette sales have declined. Okay, people are moving towards a less expensive addiction. And again, that'll be a video for another time. But the concern now is 7-Eleven is one of the largest convenience stores in the entire world. They're shutting down hundreds of locations, which we reported on that many months ago. But look at this as well. Okay, I want to read this to you. It says a specific list of closing locations wasn't immediately released. The chain has more than 13,000 stores across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, so the number of closures amounts to 3% of its portfolio. Now, they've already closed 444 locations. But look at this. It says right here, 7-Eleven has been closing stores at a steady clip, though you wouldn't know it from the headlines. The chain has already shut 444 U.S. locations since last year and expects to close another 148 by the end of 2025. Yeah, this is concerning because what we are seeing right now is what we've been somewhat expecting for quite some time, because this is just another sign of what is happening in our economy. Look at this one. says store closures have become a retail trend this year. Major chains from drugstores to department stores are trimming locations, with some shuttering hundreds of sites. However, unlike Rite Aid or Party City, 7-Eleven hasn't put out splashy announcements. It isn't publicly traded in the U.S., and its financial results don't get much coverage. But once the dust settles, the chain will be about 592 stores smaller. That is huge. When you have, several employees at every single store, and keep in mind a lot of these 7-Elevens, they are, owner operated. But the concern here is that, again, a lot of these stores are going to be letting go of, several employees. I think the last report I saw, 7-Eleven has I think it's like 7 or 8 employees. Okay, so let's say it has 8 employees. Let's say there's 600 stores closing down. Okay, that's several thousands of employees that just lost their jobs. They're not going to go and be hired at a different 7-Eleven because those 7-Elevens already have other employees. You see the issue here? I want to read you one other thing. This rebuilding strategy. It says the cuts are paired with a rebuild. New standard. Stores featured Laredo Taco and Raise the Roost Chicken kitchens, and early results indicate stronger sales than older sites. New locations are outperforming legacy stores by 13% in same-store sales during the first year, and executives project these upgraded sites will eventually generate $8,219 in average daily revenue once fully mature. Okay, so we will see a kind of a rebuild, if you will, and it could work. But again, the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because what most people are seeing right now is they're seeing a shift, not just in the amount of money that the American people have, but the items that we're buying. For instance, cigarette sales have been slowing down in 7-Eleven. As a result, they are moving towards things like alternatives to cigarettes. Zen's one of them, and so it is it's just the way the United States is shifting at this point. Again, we're seeing this all over the place. It's nothing new, but now we're starting to see more and more people realize they don't have the money to keep spending like they were. They can't keep going to 7-Eleven and buying their cheap pizza and a soda and a Slurpee. Okay? Now their health is becoming a factor. Now their the stuff that they consume, again, is that the healthiest thing? Probably not. But is that all they could afford? In some cases, yes. So again, we're going to see more of this. We're already seeing it across other industries as well. But the convenience stores, we'll see what happens. All I can tell you right now is just be prepared, because we are likely to see more and more convenience stores, not just 7-Eleven. Could be Circle K, it could be others, but just be prepared. They are going to start shutting down as more and more people can't afford their items. They can't afford the convenience factor. As a result, they'll go to grocery stores or they'll just buy online. So we'll see what happens in the very near future, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.